I'm the bad guy for making my son shower before he comes to my house because of his sister's peanut allergy and not letting him come over when he didn't. I have a son with my ex-husband, as well as a daughter with my current partner. My daughter has one of the most severe peanut allergies her doctor have ever seen. To give you an idea, someone touching a peanut, touching someone else, that person touching a surface, and that my daughter touching that surface will cause a reaction, and has before. Because of this, we have to take precautions beyond what's normal for a peanut allergy. We cannot eat out, we deep clean the house frequently, and any guests have to wash their hands when they come over and avoid touching stuff. It's a lot, and I can understand my son being frustrated. But the issue at hand has to do with his father's house. My son also has two young half brothers at his father's house, who unsurprisingly eat a lot of peanut butter and the like. Obviously, we can't police what another house does, but it does mean my son has to take additional measures to keep his sister safe. Chiefly, he has to shower immediately before leaving to go to my house. Otherwise, we could have contamination. This is because, as I said, just him being in that house and that touching things could cause a reaction for his sister. He didn't do that last week. He showered, but only the morning of, several hours before I picked him up. He refused to shower again, so I couldn't bring him and had to leave him at his father's. Now his father is accusing me of favoritism and claim I'm abandoning my son. He also said some very homophobic things about my partner, also a woman, and said I'm being obsessive. But am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for asking my sister-in-law to leave my house and never return? My wife, our toddler daughter, and I reside in an apartment. My sister-in-law has two toddlers, a boy and a girl, and is currently pregnant with her third child. Financially, she's struggling due to her involvement in illegal lotteries, where she gambles whatever money she can access. Whenever she finds herself broke and in debt to informal loan providers, she emotionally manipulates us to obtain free money. She never accepts no as an answer when she asks for money, and is determined to extract it from us, even if it's only partially. Additionally, she borrows money from us and often fails to repay us. On the rare occasions she does pay us back, it's always an amount lower than where we lent her. She frequently calls or shows up unanswered at our house, catching us off guard. Yesterday, after we informed her over the phone that we couldn't provide her with free money to repay yet another debt, she suddenly arrived at our place. We were about to leave for a vaccination appointment and told her so. We explained that she needed to inform us in advance before visiting. She suggested that we go to our appointment while she waits at her house. However, due to past instances of her stealing from us, we didn't feel comfortable leaving her alone in our home. We never confronted her about the thieves, but we definitely don't trust her with our house. We informed her that we would be gone for the entire day and that she should go back home. She insisted on staying, citing her tired toddlers as the reason. We canceled our appointment, which we had been waiting for months so secure. I was already frustrated. As usual, she managed to squeeze some money out of us. Her toddlers are unruly, creating a lot of noise, jumping around, and dropping things on the floor. Since we have downstairs neighbors, this behavior isn't ideal. Her children then broke my large workout full-body mirror. While the adults were occupied cleaning up the mess, her son acted in a manner that caused harm to my daughter's eye, as she said by herself. I couldn't contain my anger any longer. I yelled at my sister-in-law, demanding that she leave my house immediately and never visit again. They left, but my wife expressed that even though the children were being bothersome, I was too harsh in my response. and it was somewhat rude to shoot at her pregnant sister to leave. So, am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for getting mad and crying when my boyfriend ruined my hair? I have been dating my boyfriend for a year now. We went to the same high school, graduated together. We were best friends pre-relationship, so we have always been pretty close. Ever since I was very young, I've always been a perfectionist. When it comes to my appearance, especially my hair, wigs, blowouts, silk press, braids, you name the hairstyle, I've had it. And all of my friends and family members know that I'm very cautious of what people do around my hair when it's very new. No touching it, no playing in it, etc. Well, recently I got a blowout. It was my first blowout in years, and I went to a salon I had never been to before to get it. It costed about $120, and it was worth it. I felt beautiful in my hair. I also paid for my blowout with my own money. This is important for the rest of the story. Fast forward, about a day after my trip to the salon, I made up with my boyfriend so we could hang out. He seemed to really like my hair, and I gave him the usual rundown of what he can and cannot do around it. But I put a lot more emphasis on not playing in it and not getting any liquid near my hair, as it can revert it back faster and it will be a waste of money. While I was telling him this, he was joking around about how he didn't think it was that serious. But I brushed it off and he plays around like that, making fun of my perfectionism. A lot as a joke prior to this situation. A few hours later, we are relaxing on the couch when he goes to get a drink and comes back moments later with a bottle of water. He looks extremely suspicious, laughing and giggling while looking at me, but I didn't think anything of it until he starts coming a lot closer towards me, water open, hovering it over me while laughing and saying things like, "A little water never kill nobody." And it's not that serious, chill, while I'm trying to get him away from me. My struggle made me hit his wrist, which made the water split all over me. Half of it went directly on top of my head, the other half on my clothes and the couch. I immediately jumped up and started yelling at him, asking him why he will do that to me while trying to take off my shirt. During this argument, he asks us if he did nothing wrong and says he didn't think it was a big deal. They set me off, and I ran upstairs crying while searching inside of his linen closet for a towel to dry me off. It's been about 3 days since I've been over at his house. He has tried to contact me multiple times, and he has cash apped me $150 to get my hair redone. I feel like he doesn't know how he actually made me feel and is trying to save face by sending me money. But on the other hand, I'm starting to think I may have overreacted, and this is all kind of stupid. So what do you think? Am I the bad guy for not making my daughter be the flower girl at my sister-in-law wedding after she told me she didn't want to do it? My wife's sister is getting married at some point, and is working out the specific details. She and I get along fine, and our daughter adores her and always asks to visit, and she is happily babysat when in the punch. She recently dropped by and asked it would be alright with our daughter being her flower girl. We were both happy, she asked, but I did have some concerns. Our daughter is low needs autistic, meaning she can usually cope fine with most situations, but sometimes she needs extra help. One of the reasons I was concerned about the whole idea was because I knew it will involve 3 things that my daughter has difficulty with: being in fancy clothes, getting a lot of attention from a lot of people, and performing a task while being watched. Either way, I didn't want to assume anything and said we'd talk to her about it. We did talk to her that day, and she had a lot of questions about it, which we answered. In the end, we showed her the video of my in-law's wedding, where my wife was the flower girl, just to give her an idea. At that point, I wasn't shocked when she said she didn't want to do it, but my wife brushed it off, basically saying, "Oh, you'll do fine." So I pulled her aside to have a discussion. She said at this point I'd be rude to make her sister find someone else, and besides, it's nothing to worry about. She even said that if she does cry, people will think it's funny or cute, and I might be the bad guy for telling her that it was a bad move to say that. She even argued that this will be good exposed therapy for her, but she finally agreed when I wouldn't back down, provided I tell my sister-in-law. I did, and she completely understood. She even felt guilty for asking when I explained why. Anyway, all was good. She had a backup in the form of one of her fiance's cousins. So it was all fine. My wife thinks she was just being polite and is angry with me for causing drama by catering to a child. Am I the bad guy for telling my sister she caused her own situation? Hello, I'm a female, 26. I have a sister. She's 28. She's my cousin, but in my culture, she's my sister. We are not American. Kay left to attend university in the US and got married 5 years ago. The wedding was in the US, and most of our family was unable to attend. Most of our family is lower income, and they couldn't afford to pay for travels and accommodation. Kay's husband refused to host us at their home and was only willing to host Kay's parent. When the Kay and her husband relocated here because their business took a hit and they couldn't make ends meet, the cost of living here is somewhat affordable. Around that time, she had a baby, and her husband absolutely refused the welcoming ceremony for her baby. It's basically like a baby shower. Two pigs are slaughtered, and relatives give gifts to the new family members. And it's mostly random stuff like baby clothes, cribs, livestock if they are rich. Yeah, that's a joke, but her husband said it was and is barbaric. No one said anything, it's their baby. Bill does not socialize with anyone, mostly stays indoors and only leaves for work. We hardly see my niece because he doesn't want us to corrupt her with any primitive nonsense. Kay rarely comes as well. Needless to say, we don't like him very much, but we keep the peace for Kay's sake, even though she always takes her husband's side. I just had a baby 2 months ago, and her welcoming was last week, and I got a lot of stuff because this was my husband's and I first child, and his family leans more towards the higher earnings families. My sister and her family were invited, but only she came, but she was quiet the entire time. She left early. A few days later, she came to visit. Usually, a woman is supposed to stay with her mother for 3 months after childbirth for healing, so I'm still at my mom's place. She blew up at all of us for alienating her and showing favoritism against her and her baby. She said more stuff, but that's the gist of it. I told her she caused this situation, and the only person she should argue with is her husband. She said we hate her husband for no reason, and I'm only jealous because she married a man her own age. My husband is 10 years older than me. I told her she was delusional and she left. My mom and aunt said I shouldn't have said that because she's going through a hard time and she needs someone, but I don't think it's my job to coddle her feelings. Now that I think about it, I feel bad for her and my niece. So am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for making a mess in the kitchen when my mother-in-law comes to visit? My wife has recently gone back to work after a long break she had. Our daughter was born. She's experienced a few hard days at work. I thought it might lift her mood up a little bit if I cooked something for her with the help of our little one. I don't really cook around the house because of my work schedule, but I thought I'll do it to help boost her mood. We made our dining room into a restaurant. I got us both chief hats and matching aprons, and we cooked. While cooking, we made a bit of a mess in the kitchen. We were almost done when I got a call from her. She said her mom, my mother-in-law, they live in a different state and we barely see each other, had come to pay us a visit and asked me to prepare the guest room if I can, and said she'll be home shortly. So I panicked and couldn't clean up before they arrived. They came home to a messy kitchen and our daughter acting as a restaurant manager. My wife adored the whole thing, but her mom immediately said the way we lived with all the mess was disappointing. She said it was ridiculous to serve someone food like this in their home and made fun of the process. My wife told me to just let it go, but somehow I feels like a huge bad guy. Besides, timing could not be worse, and my wife and I stayed up cleaning the mess that night. So, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for calling my sister out when she judged me for living at home and wanting children later on in life? I live at home with my parents. I did live alone before, but due to my health at that time, I moved back home. My health is now getting better, and I'm saving up with my partner to move out. I pay rent to my parents and also pay my way too. My older sister judged me for living at home and states that she moved out at 18, and it's not that hard. However, my sister seems to forget that she moved in with her then boyfriend's family, and after her breakup, she moved in with her new husband, and basically has never lived on her own or really even paid a dime in rent. Yet she judged me. That's a quick backstory anyway. I traveled with my best friend to go visit my sister, as we both live a plane ride away from each other. As I arrived at my sister's place, she decided to sit in front of my friend, who also lives at home. That is super weird that I still live at home. And when she was 25, she was already married with a child. I told her that I'm going to wait for my 30s to help my children, and I'm saving up to move out. She laughed at me and said that having children in 30s is so old. I said to her, well, not all of us are lucky enough to marry rich. She didn't like the comment and called me the bad guy. So, am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for getting upset over my family eating my portion of brownies? I made a batch of 48 brownies on Saturday. I left 24 in a container for my family, mother, and 2 older brothers, and took the other 24 to hang out things with my friends. I ended up taking about 20 brownies home, as we all really enjoyed someone's mac and cheese, and ended up having no room for brownies. When I had returned the container of brownies my family was supposed to share was already down to about 10 brownies. I was gone for 5 hours. I put my portion of brownies on the kitchen table and said, "Hey guys, please don't eat any brownies from the container with the red lid, it's mine." Everyone heard me and they all nodded. Fast forward to today, when I noticed there is only 2 brownies left in my container. This is how the conversation went. Me: "Oh, where did all my brownies go?" "Oh, you brothers and I ate them since you weren't going to." "Oh, what? I said I was going to eat them. I haven't even gotten the chance to even try and eat them. I've been having troubles with my heart recently, so I've been more focused on that than consuming brownies." His replies: "Stop trying to make an argument out of everything. Listen, there is no reason to get upset. I said it was fine." My words: "But you didn't even ask me if it was okay. I made them and you guys already ate your portion. I've only had one." My mom called me an entitled, selfish bad guy and said I made Jay feel guilty because he had apparently eaten the most amount of brownies. So then said that I need to learn to share my things and that I was too old to be throwing tantrums over brownies. So am I the bad guy here?